Wow. Ralph Krueger, fired as head coach of the Buffalo Sabres. I'm going to get into it, but there's just so many layers to the issues in Buffalo, so many layers to the issues with the Buffalo Sabres, and I'm going to talk about it. If you're a new subscriber, welcome. Smash that like button. Leave your thoughts in the comment section. Ralph Krueger, done. See you later. Bye-bye. And for this Buffalo Sabres team, a 12-game losing streak. And, I mean, you look at the record, 6-18-4. 6 wins, 18 regulation losses, 4 overtime shootout losses. Jack Eichel injured. You have Jeff Skinner playing fourth line minutes. And so ironic, and I'm going to talk about a few things. Jeff Skinner scores the last goal of Ralph Krueger's tenure with the Buffalo Sabres. I'm going to pull this up right away because this right here is, and I'll throw out a bunch of names. You can talk about Dwayne, you can talk about Melanie Martin. There's a bunch of Sabres fans. Like, I want for them, and for a lot of the Sabres fans I communicate with in this community, like, I want the Sabres to turn this around. It's just so bad. Like, it's not even like they're bad. They're bad to the point where there is, like, hockey writers or hockey, like, news outlets that are putting the Buffalo Sabres, like, there was the one, obviously I think it was, whatever, the hockey writers or whoever it was that put the Buffalo Sabres at 32 in power rankings below Seattle. Like, that is when you get to the point where things are bad. So Dwayne puts, I love that Skinner scored the last goal of Ralph Krueger's tenure as head coach. Poetic justice. This doesn't fix our issues, though. It starts at the top with Kim's unwillingness to step aside and hire hockey people to make hockey decisions. The Where's Kim movement doesn't end here. And that's kind of where it starts. It starts from the top of the Pagulas. And I've talked to a lot of Sabres fans, and I don't know if they're comfortable with the Bills right now. The Bills are doing so well that, like, let's push the Sabres aside. We can wait a few more years for the Sabres to do well. But it's to the point where you have Jack Eichel, your second overall pick from 2015, unhappy. Now he's injured. On the bench, like, it's just a thing that's been across social media. Like, the guy even touching his neck and then even more injured. It seems like every time they try to do something right, it goes to the shit. So it seems like Don Granato is going to be the interim head coach for now. Obviously, we can talk about different options. JAROD GALLANT is one of the names that keeps popping up for different teams. And I'm not suggesting Babcock going to the Sabres, but it begs the question. There was a decision that Babcock was making at the time that he got hired by the Leafs. Was he going to go to Toronto? Was he going to go to Buffalo? Was he going to stay in Detroit? And he ultimately picked Toronto, but how much would it have changed if Babcock picked Buffalo? I know there's so many issues around Babcock, but he was able to build with the Leafs and the better players to get into the playoffs. The Sabres with Jack Eichel have not made the playoffs. So I'm not saying Babcock would have been a good fit and probably would have been gone by now as well. But my point is, have all these coaches, have all these different personalities, all these just random decisions that the Pagulas or the Buffalo Sabres have made, has it just kind of messed up the organization, messed up the progress built for these certain players? I mean, we've seen a guy like Casey Middlesack come out of junior, play so well with the World Juniors, and then just crap the bed as he kind of makes his way to the Buffalo Sabres. And then you see different players like Rasmus Dahlin shows just no capability of playing defense. And obviously he's only 20 years old, but I watched that guy. He shows no effort, no capability in the defensive zone. We can talk about so many guys, Colin Miller, Montour, Ristolainen, just like the defensive effort's not there. The goaltending, obviously no Allmark, that doesn't help. Hutton just is a lost cause. I feel bad for Johansson. And then you look at the forward group and it's just so many guys, like even Olofsson struggling 5-on-5. Skinner playing fourth line minutes. You have Riley Shahan or like Tobias Reeder playing like top minutes, Reeder on the top line, like whatever it is with the Buffalo Sabres, you just have nothing working. Even Eric Stahl, who never wants to be traded at the deadline, now wants to be traded at the deadline. So everything that's involved with this Buffalo Sabres team is a mess. And I'm not trying to make this a video where the Buffalo Sabres fans are getting even more upset. I'm sure everything I'm saying right now is you already heard, you've already known about. And I think with Ralph Krueger being fired, this is just another step. And if you go over the coaches, like, it's bad, man. I mean, obviously since Lindy Ruff and his long tenure with the Buffalo Sabres, and then you look at all those years of success. I mean, success to a certain point. Obviously the runs and like going into the playoffs, like that was something in the 2000s, right? And then, I mean, now you look at kind of the list, like Ralph Krueger, and then you had Phil Housley, you had Dan Bylsma, and you had Ted Nolan coming back. So obviously it goes back to the Babcock thing. Bylsma comes in, and that didn't work out. And then Phil Housley, the legend, doesn't work behind the bench. And then now even Ralph Krueger, who was considered a very good coach, comes in, and things get really messed up really fast. And I was even looking as an outsider, as not a fan for this team. And I'm looking at some of these lines, like, it just gets to the point where all these coaches are in their head. Ralph Krueger's in his head. I mean, it comes down to just overthinking things. And, like, it was such a mess that they don't even know what to do at that point, right? So Ralph Krueger moves on. Granato coming in as the interim. I mean, just a few things I want to throw out there for the Buffalo Sabres. This was more of just, like, not really a rant, because if you guys want me to get fired up, I could get fired up. This is a mess. It's a joke. I was actually going to post a video, and then I don't know what happened. I guess I didn't get to editing. School's been really busy, but the few things I was going to say in that video, and I recorded a bunch of stuff me saying, was just like, just literally make the decision on Jack Eichel's for his best interests. Like, don't waste a guy's career because you guys are inept in making proper decisions and inept in building a proper team. That Jeff Skinner contract was an embarrassment. Obviously, that was Botterill. That had Botterill all over it. Botterill put so much stupid on this team, but this team was already messed before Botterill. And the Pegula's got to figure it out. No comfortable shit with the Buffalo Bills. Figure out the Sabres. You're going to have too many fans. Like, we're trying to grow hockey, and you have all these Bills and Sabres fans that are right now so invested with the Bills and are watching the Sabres team. And honestly, if I was a Sabres fan, like, I would be just... this is not even a matter of, like, not making the playoffs for so long or not. This is just a matter of, like, not showing progress. I'm sure a lot of Sabres fans can agree with me on saying this, is like, you've been patient. You've understood that a rebuild is a rebuild. But there's a difference between being in a rebuild and being frustrated with your team sucking versus not seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. I'm sure a lot of Sabres fans right now just don't see that light at the end of the tunnel and don't know how far it's going to be. That is the worst feeling. Sucking, being bad, trying to be passionate for a team that's just horrible, and not seeing that better path, not seeing that ability for this team to get better in the short term, or at least in the next few years. And right now, if Jack Eichel gets traded, what kind of return are you getting? There's so many aspects to this team. Eichel is not happy. There's no way he's even close to happy. And depending on who you bring in this offseason, this is like the last straw. I mean, I was thinking last offseason, this past offseason was the last straw, but this upcoming offseason is the last straw. Depending on what kind of draft pick, who you're signing, if you can get some pieces back for some of these guys you're trading. So it's just a mess, and it starts here with Ralph Krueger getting fired. We'll see who they can bring in. I'm sure, Sabres fans would be pissed. I don't think Granato will stay as the long-term option here. And the last couple of coaches haven't stayed as long-term options. So, Gallant could be an option. There's some guys out there that they're going to look for. So we'll see what happens. But thank you so much for watching. As I said, Ralph Krueger on this 12-game losing streak, losing to the Devils. That was the final straw. Fired. And we'll see if the Pegulas can, as Dwayne said, hire the right people. Fire some people, hire the right people, bring in the hockey experts, bring in the hockey minds. The Buffalo Sabres are a mess. They're still a mess. They've been a mess, and they're a joke right now. And for the sake of the Buffalo Sabres fans, I do hope they turn this around. So thank you so much. Subscribe, like, and comment. This was John from MCKAY. Have a good one. Peace out.